In a democracy, voters are supposed to choose their representatives, not the other way around. And the redistricting plans that you have before you do violence to that bedrock principle of democracy. A local Republican Party official in Clark County is calling this plan unethical. And he's quoted as saying there's something called integrity. Things should be done properly. And obviously feels that the plan before you falls far short of that standard. Now there is a real measure of what a preposterously political charade is occurring here, is when a local Republican Party official in Clark County looks at it and says, this is unethical. On its face. That speaks volumes.
This was introduced last Friday. Here we are on Wednesday, in session next Tuesday to pass it. This is something that's going to have, obviously, huge impacts on people, not forget legislators, on people all over the state. So would Senator Fitzgerald be open to delaying the process, letting people take a look at these maps till at least, excuse me, at least to the middle of the end of August, before we actually voted on them?
No.
I have not had that conversation with about the timing. About the timing, would he be willing to wait or not? I mean, I can comment on the map SB 148 and kind of how it's drawn in terms of the other bill that SB 150 that changes the order in which the state. I'm not prepared to testify on that. And ultimately, when to take up SB 148 and when to take up the other bills is ultimately up to the committee and to the legislature. Okay.
No, and I know you're just redistricting. We write the map, then we change the law to make sure that what we end up doing is legal.
By law, state redistricting is not to be done until after local municipal boundaries are drawn. And so not only are you considering these plans, but you have to consider legislation to change the law to accommodate your interest in doing early state redistricting. Because you're here doing something that's contrary to existing state law. So you have to change that law in order to do it.
I think one of the reasons why there is some urgency at this time is because former Senate Democratic Majority Leader Judy Robson has filed a lawsuit in federal court against the state, saying that the current districts are unconstitutionally malapportioned. And given that this is a state function to reapportion, it's incumbent upon the legislature to act rather than to lead that to the court. And I think that's probably the clearest answer as to why it's incumbent upon the legislature to act as quickly as possible because of that federal court challenge.
And you are not under orders to be here because of any federal lawsuit that has been filed by former Senator Robson. You are here under orders for one reason and one reason only. You are here because you feel you have to do state redistricting before those recall elections. And everybody in this doggone room knows that.
That's right.
First question is, did you look at the partisan makeup of the districts?
That information was made available to all four caucuses. By the
You guys had the legal representation, we didn't.
The information was made available by the Government Accountability Board through the Nonpartisan Legislative Technology Service Bureau, and it was available to all four of those caucuses.
I guess best way to put it, did you consider the partisan makeup of the districts when drawing the maps?
If I can interrupt, I give committee members pretty much leeway to go back and forth on questions, but if you could let the individuals answer when they're here, that would be appreciated.
That information was available. I do not have that information here with you. It was available, but the principles by which the map were drawn were those that I enumerated earlier: equal population, sensitivity to minority concerns, and impact on contiguous districts.
Did the partisan makeup of the districts come into play at all when drawing the maps?
The principles were the ones I enumerated, those were the ones that will drive the path.
So the answer is no.
The answer is that we follow those three legal principles.
Thanks.
Representative Schuler.
Christ. A little liar. So you drew the maps?
Yes.
Okay. So redistricting, or the recalls, you can't comment on whether or not the recalls were a factor in the redistricting.
I can't comment.
And was political affiliation taken into consideration when drawing these new maps?
I can't comment.
Did you look at the party affiliation of the people you were, you knowingly were disenfranchising, which you acknowledged yourself in the hearing?
I can't comment.
We took that 5.25% and applied it to the new population of Wisconsin of 5,600,000 and change, and almost 5.7 million, and came up with a number of, in our disenfranchisement, of 299,704.
Sir, how do you justify districts, there are islands districts that don't touch the other parts of the districts that they're inside of? My district moved to Middleton. Will you defend this in court?